Hello and good morning and welcome to the Japan Strike weekly series, episode 1. I'll be very honest here, I was thinking a lot of if I should do this weekly series on the Japan Strike now or maybe wait for another 1 month. And I'll tell you the reason why. I've been using the Japan Strike for almost a year now and it was great overall. Very profitable months, small drawdowns, and it was one of my favorite and still is one of my favorite EAs, even though it's running on the MT4. But this year, the dollar Japanese chart was crazy, especially with the weakening yen and a continuous intervention of the Bank of Japan to keep that price at a decent level. But let me show you what happened on the chart. So like I said, I started using it since September 2025. It had a few great months, 7.3%, 7.6%, a small loss of 0.5% in November, and then a decent month of 2.1 in December 2025. And it continued also in 2026. 5.2 in January, 5.3 February, 6.76 in March, and 2.62 in April. And if I remember correctly, I was stuck in a drawdown for a few weeks, still got out, almost 4% in May. But since the middle of the May, I got stuck in a big drawdown. How big? Very big. My first level was open at around 158, somewhere in the middle of the May, somewhere here. And it was open in a sell position, so hoping that the price would go somewhere around here, definitely lower. As you can see on the chart, that didn't happen. The price kept growing, 159, 160, 161, 162, without any big moves. This was not big enough to get me out of the trade. 162 again, 163, close to 164. So at my worst, I was 25 levels deep in a drawdown of over $7,000 in an account that had around $13,000 at that time. So over 50% drawdown with trades that were accumulating swap fees for almost 3 months. Out of desperation at that time, I made some slight changes. I increased the number of pips between the levels when they open new trades, step level, from 200 to 300 at that time. I decreased it to 250 since, and I limited the number of trades that are allowed to be open to 25, because at my worst I was at $164 as the price and I had 25 levels open, and if the price went to 105 and 6, probably I would have blown the account. So I was hoping and praying for the Bank of Japan to intervene. The lot size was actually at 0.1, and I didn't use any martingale. It was only grid. All the levels had the same lot size. So luckily the Bank of Japan has finally intervened, also helped by the weakening of the dollar. So the price went crazy low, crazy fast, from 164 to all the way down to 157, which I expect actually to continue even lower. At this moment is 157.4. So most of my trades closed in a profit overall, but because of the crazy high swap fees, trades being held for over 2.5 months, my overall trade was closed in a loss of over $1,000. Now on the positive note, all I can say, if I try to give reasons, positive is the fact that still, since the beginning of the account, September 2025, I'm still overall in over 30% profit and over $2,700 in profit, including the big loss that I had last month. So at this moment, this account has $12,212 and produced $2,700. So you can say overall, not counting the deposit and the withdrawals that I had done over the past, it increased an account from around $9,000 something dollars to around $12,000, including the loss that I had, which wasn't a stop loss. It was just a take profit, which was much too higher. Even though I tried to lower the take profit as much as possible to get as much profit as possible, the move by the move that happened last Friday was way too quick for me to lower it to the level that it should have been lowered. Of course, we had no idea how low would that price go. I remember initially the EA calculated take profit at around 160.5, which was very far from being take profit with all the fees. I lowered to 160.2, Then I lowered to 159.7, and I was waiting for the price to see if it goes under 160 or just close it in a profit. And when it went under 160, it went kind of quick. So I was on my way to lower it again to maybe 159. You never know what will happen. So I couldn't really move the take profit quick enough, and I still hit take profit, which ended up being a loss with all the fees. I was not the only one that happened this. So yeah, that doesn't really. So overall, the month was bad. The first big bad month. But still, even this year, I'm still in a profit of almost 1,500 and overall over $1,700 in profit. The average trade duration is 2 days, especially with this long one that was closed, some of them after like 2 months, 2.5 months. Profit factor is 1.32. Decent percentage of trading being won, over 70%. And like I said, this is heavily depending on the US dollar, Japanese yen. Until in the first part of the year, was a balance between a very strong currency and extremely weak, with a Bank of Japan intervening a couple of times already. And here you can see the whole story happening, and quite a lot of trades being closed. Most of them were closed at 159.76. I wish I could have closed it a bit lower, but luckily after that, because of the crazy move that happened after that, I still got quite a few very profitable trades, over $200 in 1 day happening. This is not normal. I am looking forward to see how the Japan strike will move in the next month. I was a bit unlucky, I must say, because I was actually close to getting out. Maybe if I would have looked at it more carefully and did some of those damage limitation exit, as I call them, meaning if you have like 20 levels of trades, and at one time when the price bounced, and maybe your top latest 5 trades are all profitable, and you can close those 5 and maybe close 2 of the less profitable that are on the lower side, which are the oldest trades that you have. Overall, you might close maybe in $100 loss, but you are eliminating 7 trades and you're eliminating 2 of the most expensive trades because they're like 3 months old and a lot of swap fees that are adding up there. Is it perfect? No. Is it risky? Yes. Because if actually that's the big move that is happening, you are limiting the profit, because those top trades that are really on the highest price, when that price bounces back, those will be very profitable and it will help the overall trade to be in a profit. And if you close them too quick, it's not ideal. So it's a risky thing to do. Maybe if I would have done it maybe 2 months ago, it would have been a little bit better. I'm gonna pay attention and watch carefully this chart. Again, Japan strike never really had an issue from this point of view, and I hope in the future it will also not have an issue. Where you can find the Japan strike is the Robot Forex Pro.com. They have many EAs, most of them on the MT4, including the Japan strike. They have also the multi-pair and Euro stable. I purchased all 3 of these, so I'm reviewing an EA that I purchased with my own money. I am really happy with the Japan strike, even though it had a bad month. I am really happy with the multi-pair. I tried for a few months the Euro stable, and I'm still considering maybe retrying it again. At that time, it didn't deliver compared to the multi-pair and the Japan strike. But that being said, it still delivered like 2 to 3%. But when the Japan strike and the multi-pair were delivering 6 to 7%, I decided to put my money in the other 2 EAs. So maybe I will retest this one. There's also the Gold V5 EA. At one time in one of my videos, I was hinting that I might do a review on it. I did. I tested it with real money for a month. I didn't lose money, but it was extremely aggressive to my liking. I didn't like it overall. My advice would be use this only in an account that you don't want to go to the casino, or you don't want to get involved in betting, and you just want to have fun with an account and watch. I'll give you my example. My account went from $800 to 1,200, and then to 500, and then to 1,000 in like 2 weeks. And that sounds great because overall it went from 800 to 1,000, but the journey was a bit too much. Maybe I'm just too old for this kind of thing. But maybe if you're younger and you have $1,000 to put in it and just forget about it, then that's also one EA that you can try. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not my style. So speaking of the Japan strike, it goes on the MT4, and what you're going to purchase is 1 live license and 1 demo license, or 2 live accounts. I purchased, in my option, I picked the 2 live accounts. I'm using one in this account, and actually my brother is using the other live And you can see some live results. I'm not going to go into a lot of details about it. I can tell you why. And again, this is part of the same direction. Is yeah, Japan strike, not perfect, but still good. Had a bad month, actually 3 bad months, but the results ended up only in 1 bad month in July. But overall, I'm still happy with it. The reason why I'm not going to open this and check, because they are not live. Am I saying that the vendor is manipulating the chart? No. Am I saying that the vendor is not manipulating the charts? I don't know. You cannot really prove. I really prefer the ones that have the live tracking, where I can see and mimic most of the trades. So one of the reasons actually why I purchased the Japan strike, it wasn't this website, it was the project that Petko, Alexander, is doing, having almost 100 accounts with real money and real EAs on his website. I know that Petko is not manipulating his accounts because I can see quite a few of them blowing up. And the fact that Japan strike is still there and still doing strong on Petko's account, that's a good positive thing. So this is the reason why I purchased the Japan strike. algotrading.space.com. You can find Petko on his website. It's one of the biggest YouTuber in the EA industry. And if you type here Japan, you're going to see there's the Japan strike and a happy Japanese market. I'm not going to speak about this one. I'm going to go to the Japan strike. And you're going to see not just an explanation about the EA, which is good and nice. You can find this also on the vendor's website. But more interesting is you're going to see the live accounts. He's using this in 2 accounts, the Japan high risk and the Euro stable Japan strike. Probably this is a portfolio combination. So, and you can check the track records for each of these. Let's go here. Japan high risk sounds like my kind of account. And here you can see the account going amazingly well, and all these drops are withdrawals. He increased it from 1,000 to 1,200 and then withdraw $200, and again it went from 1,000 to 1,276. Again withdraw $200. It went again from 1,000 to 1,200 exactly, and another withdrawal. So he's been withdrawing 200. He withdrew already $600 from this account. So that must be doing something right. He was also in some drawdowns, and the fact that the Japan strike it was always one of the top 5 recommendation from Petko's and Petko's team. That was a big plus point from my point of view. I like the Market Master because I can see all the real results and I can check all the trades that it was done by this EA, no problem. I like, same with the Market Master Duo, I like the Powerhouse because it's well grounded, it has a history. The Ranger EA has many years of history and without hitting a stop loss, and all the other EAs are also quite stable. Big fan. I like the Architect because it uses the artificial intelligence. It has some new interesting strategies, and I think long term can be even more profitable. And I like the Japan strike because it's actually quite straightforward. I remember the moment I purchased, I wanted something else outside the euro dollar, because the moment I was checking for another EA, it happened about a few weeks after the big stop loss that happened on my Powerhouse account. If you watch the Powerhouse series, I didn't like the fact that the Powerhouse was very dependent on the euro dollar pair, and I wanted something else, and this was definitely something else. It was a euro dollar. Some may say that I went from a big issue to an even bigger issue because this pair is very volatile and there are many things involved in this pair. But overall, I'm still happy with the purchase. And if you want to purchase the Japan strike, there's a link in the description. And by doing that, you are helping this weekly series of the Japan strike continue for many weeks and months. I'm very excited about the results that the Japan strike will be able to produce in the month of August. I don't look at it needs to recuperate the loss. We're already in a profit, even this year, but definitely overall in quite a good profit. Usually what I expect from it is somewhere between 4 to 6%. And if you like this Japan strike series and you would like me to continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget, for you to trade with the Japan strike, you're gonna need to open a broker's account. IC Trading is one of the best, and they also have an MT4 platform that you will use for the Japan strike, which runs only on the MT4. I know it's not ideal, only MT4, and the promise that I got from the developer from the Japan strike, the promise was that they will develop an MT5 version and they would give us that MT5 version for free because we purchased the MT4 version the moment the MT4 version would stop working. So by opening an account with IC Trading, you're not just opening an account with one of the best brokers on the market, but also you're helping this YouTube account and this Japan Strike playlist continue with the weekly updates. I hope you enjoyed the Japan Strike episode number 1. It was not all smooth selling, it was not all positive, it was not all comedy. Some of it was a bit of drama, some of it was annoying, there was some praying going around, but also at the end, I'm quite happy with the situation that we are in at this moment. I hope the Japan Strike stays out of trouble in the next month. It's not going to be easy because the market is extremely choppy on this pair, but I think, especially with the slight changes that I've done, with making the levels slightly, making the distance between the levels slightly bigger from 200 pips to 250, I think that will help overall in not having as many trades closed if the move is really continuous and strong as it was during this year, from 155 to 160 and then go back again to 155 to 164, and now we're again 157. Hopefully it will not go again as a linear rise to 167 or something. I hope there will be going to be some more choppy movement of the price, because that really helps with the EA. Thank you for watching episode number 1 of the Japan Strike. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the comment down below. And I wish you a very profitable week ahead.